So Wizards of the Coast is emergency banning a card from Best of 1 Standard, and that card is the Book of Exalted Deeds for triple white. You have this legendary artifact. First amount of the card doesn't matter, nobody cares. But the second part, triple white, tap, exile the Book of Exalted Deeds, put an enlightened counter on target angel. It gains you can't lose the game and your opponents cannot win the game. Activate only as a sorcery. Now, that does not seem that impressive. I mean, we've got stuff like Platinum Angel out there, right? You know, what's the deal? So anyway, this apparently combos pretty well with Faceless Haven. Because if you activate Faceless Haven, it becomes a 4/3 creature with vigilance and all creature types until end of turn. It is still a land, but the most important part is it becomes an angel. All creature types, hey, your elk, moose, hippopotamus, everything includes an angel. So what you do is you put the counter on your Faceless Haven, and then it's going to turn back into a land at end of turn, and boom, you basically can't lose the game unless they can get rid of the land off the battlefield, which can be very difficult in Standard. It could be very difficult in Standard. So here's the official release. Standard 22, the Book of Exalted Deeds is banned. Hasn't been even out for like barely a week, and it's gone. So in the Standard 2022 format, the Book of Exalted Deeds is now banned. This will happen with the MTG Arena release this Friday morning, July 16th. It will not require a client update. Do they mean 2021? They keep saying Standard 2022. Is there something I'm missing here? When the Book of Exalted Deeds is combined with Faceless Haven, a player could control a land which prevented them from losing the game, and it was highly unlikely the opponent had a way to remove it. While this deck was not dominant either by win rate or percentage of players playing the combo, running into it was very frustrating. It was a very frustrating experience. If both of them were using it, that must really suck. Now they're just at a standstill. It's a pillow fort standstill. The game would have no way to end until one player finally decided to concede. So how long do you want to wait, huh? You want it? I can stand here forever. I can sit. I'm very good at sitting on my ass, waiting for my opponent to concede. It becomes a waiting contest. It's a game of chicken. This is not the gameplay experience we are aiming to provide. It should be noted that the ban does not mean that the Book of Exalted Deeds will be banned in Standard after format rotation with the release of Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Standard 2022 is Best of 1, which removes the ability to sideboard against the combo. It's also the only format on MTG Arena which has different considerations than formats played in tabletop. And of course, Innistrad Midnight Hunt will be legal in Standard after rotation, but is not available in Standard 2022. Note that the wildcard grants are not used for bans in Standard 2022. The Book of Exalted Deeds can still be used in both Standard and Historic play on MTG Arena. So, I mean, I'll tell you what they're trying to do. They're trying to prevent Nexus of Fate 2.0. Nexus of Fate actually has such a fucked history with Magic the Gathering. This card is ridiculous. And you look at it, it's banned in Historic and Pioneer. Not to mention it's had so many other controversies. But, the main problem with Nexus of Fate, if nobody remembers, is people made Nexus of Fate decks without a win condition on MTG Arena. So, like, to increase the likelihood, because generally speaking, if the opponent proved that they could loop Nexus of Fate over and over and over again every single turn, because if you don't know this card, 7 mana, it's an instant, take an extra turn after this one. If Nexus of Fate would be put in a graveyard from anywhere, reveal Nexus of Fate and shuffle it into its owner's library instead. So what ends up happening is you keep putting Nexus of Fate back into your deck, you could dig for it, and when your library gets low enough, you just loop it over and over again. And if there's a point where it looks like they're just going to loop Nexus of Fate every single turn, maybe with a bunch of mana to scry, or whatever, or the deck is just small enough, the opponent will generally concede. I mean, they can't beat infinite turns. But there were some Nexus of Fate decks that had no intention of winning the game, and that they would just Nexus of Fate eternally, and then if the opponent decides, no, I'm not going to resign, then Nexus of Fate can't win, and the player would just be looping Nexus of Fates doing nothing. And there was a very famous streamed game against Shahar Shenhar where he says, I'm not going to resign to the Nexus of Fate player, and this game went on for like, I don't know, a few hours. And then, like, it obviously proved that the game experience was terrible. I think at first they were banning players for playing Nexus of Fate like that, and then eventually they said, okay, fuck it, we're just gonna ban it. This is stupid. It was just a badly designed card. And we're seeing this again with Faceless Haven and the Book of Exalted Deeds. If 2 players have this combo out, or even 1 player, it's like a really bad play experience. But if there's a mirror match, yeah, they don't want any chances of that happening ever again from here on out. So I think this is the core reason why it is emergency banned. Otherwise, the combo sucks. You have to sink so much mana into this. What, you need triple white, triple snow? Like, how do you make that work? Triple snow. This is insane. This is 6 mana to make this combo go off. But if both players get it off, it's all over. The game is a draw, except it should be a draw, except that it's never going to be seen as a draw. Maybe they should have in the rules somewhere, like, if you go 50 turns without winning, you lose the game or something like that. There needs to be some additional rule entered, or even like for two players, if the game is passed back and forth for like 100 turns, then it's a draw. You know, there's got to be something to stop these games from going on too long if someone tries to abuse infinite loops or there's like a standstill in some way. Anyway, interesting developments in Standard. I never thought that. I knew the combo existed. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but now I realize if 2 people are facing off each other with the combo, the game is garbage. Excellent. So anyway, welcome to the morning show where we discuss all things Magic the Gathering. Coffee crew, get your questions fired up. Let's have a great discussion this morning. Also, we do deck list reviews, so if you guys 75 you'd like some feedback on, submit it to us, and both myself and the community would love to give that feedback. So brew up those coffees and let's brew up some magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for, what is it, July 15th? July 15th, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Harry, Fraser, Walter, MTG Ectoplasm, Rebecca, Mareep, Chris, James, Cody, Manuel, Aaron, Andrew, Snuffleupafish, Manuel, MTG Box, Papa Joe. Good morning, everybody. So, just one slight word of announcement. One of our own from our fish fam, Michael, is in the hospital with COVID. He reached out to me and asked if I could ask everybody for their thoughts and prayers for Michael. He's sick in the hospital with COVID. I hope, Michael, you get better really soon. But last time I talked to him, sounds like he's on the up and up. But, you know, you never know. You never know. So take care, Michael. So before we go any further, though, we got sponsors. Sponsor FusionGamingOnline.com. Strixhaven, that's old news. But deal of the week, 15% off all white border sets. That's the new news. That's the new news. So you can get, and we're talking like revised, unlimited, the old style cards, a lot of reserve list cards. If you're looking to get a deal on those cards, you thought you missed out. You went as the prices started going up because of the pandemic. We thought the prices would crash, and they did for a second, but they went straight back up. Everyone dumped all their pandemic money, the COVID money, into reserve list cards. Now is the time you could get a big discount, 15%. But in addition to that 15%, you can get an extra 5% off if you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout. That is FusionGamingOnline.com, coupon code Nikachu. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. And now with the metagame's shifting so much every single week. And if you want to be on the top deck, week in and week out, one week it's the food deck. Another week it's the Murktide deck. Another week it's the Hammer Time deck. You can play the best deck week in and week out when you rent cards with Mana Traders. You can support the channel with my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. All right, you know the drill, everyone. 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question helps me find your questions amongst all the comments on my YouTube channels and Facebook fan page. But also, you can cheat the system with super chats. If you're on YouTube, donate with a super chat and your question gets pushed to the top of my feed. James Gilberto, it's actually James Giliberto, isn't it? Moving on, what do you think of the power level of Book of Exalted Deeds? Is it ban-worthy in your opinion? Power level, no, but play experience, very stupid. So that's the deal. It's only, they're only banning it because they're afraid of a Nexus of Fate 2.0 situation, in my opinion. You know, I don't, like, even for 6 mana, I don't think this is a very powerful combo in best of 1. Like, what? I don't know. Maybe it is. 2-card combos, they're dangerous. They're very, very dangerous. And no one has any main deck, like... No one in best of 1 is going to be playing with land hate. It's not like Wasteland is a staple card of the format. So I think it is most... maybe it's partially too strong. Maybe. Probably not. It's so slow. But I think they're trying to prevent situations where 2 players with the combo face off versus each other. And then all of a sudden, they're in a standstill that they can't break. See, Wizards is... Because they got so much shit for Nexus of Fate. Oh, they're so stupid for designing this card. Didn't they play test anything? Oh, why don't they ban this card? It's obviously being abused. Just ban the card. Anyway, like, so they're taking action now. Swift and clean. They know what to do these days. They've learned from their experience. What is Nikachu's 1 commander deck? I have a Thassa God of the Sea deck. That is my commander deck. And it's basically a Merfolk deck. It has some combos, though. I do play with Paradigm. I do play with well, I mean, I got Paradigm Shift. Just in case you try to pull a fast one on Nikachu, I do have the ability to go Paradigm Shift into Thassa's Oracle. So Paradigm Shift says it's 2 blue, or it's a 1 and a it's 2 mana. Sorcery, remove all cards in your library from the game. Shuffle your graveyard into your library. I hope I have a small library, tiny library. Want a tiny library, because then I'm going to combo off with Thassa's Oracle when it loads. Thassa's Oracle will win me the game. So if anyone has some unbreakable board, I still have outs. Not your average Merfolk deck. Anyone make a tribal cube yet? I need that deck list. Well, that's what I want to do. But I haven't made the damn thing, so I don't have it. Oh, standard 2022 means after rotation? So it's not banned now, is what you're telling me. They're banning it in advance? This will happen with the MTG release this Friday morning. No, well, it sounds this soon. It will not require a client update. I guess, well, oh, I get it. It's standard 2022, so like after rotation, I get it. I get it. Okay. Yeah. Because it's like, we don't have much time left in standard 2021. But anyway, I think it's still weirdly named. I think they could name it based on the set of it getting released. I miss the 30-hour game, says Dio Brando. Spencer Ward, I played this combo so much you can watch your opponent go through the stages of grief after they realize what they allowed to happen. I love the combo, but I understand why it's banned. Oh yeah, it's funny. So you could probably see how your opponent starts playing much slower because they're trying to think, what do I do to get out of this? How do I get out of this combo? Do I have any outs? Do I have to wait to see if my opponent can kill me? Is it not possible still though to deck? Oh no, you can't deck them. Yeah. So your win condition is just passing the turn because you can't get decked because you can't lose the game. Hot Coldman, how are you going to make a top 10 modern cards from Forgotten Realms? It's hard to have a top 3. That's why I'm not even going to do one. Screw it. Not even going to. I mean, maybe we could have a top 2. What, Demolich and that other that thing that's being played in Hammer Time. Yeah, it's terrible. Fraser T asks, how would they ban players for using cards legally Nexus of Fate instead of banning the card? That seems hard to justify and a bad precedent. Not really. So, I mean, there came a point where they said, okay, look, you're not allowed to loop this thing. If we find you looping Nexus of Fate over and over again, we're banning you. Like, don't play in tournaments like this. This is not what the card was designed to be. You play with a win condition. And they did ban the first person. They, like, got into their account and banned them mid-game. I don't know how long they were banned for. It's like, don't be an ass is basically what it is. I don't think it's much of a bad precedent. Like, this is not how, like, that's not how Magic was designed to be. Okay, here's the thing. In paper Magic, you would lose. Because you have to take a different game action. You have to win the game somehow. But online, we don't have judges to come in and say, hey, you can't, like, you can't repeat actions over and over and over again. Like, that is an actual thing. In a paper game of Magic, you can't loop the game over and over again, or you lose. Like, you can't stall it out. You have to do something else. The judge will tell you to do something else, and if you can't do anything else, so they're gonna make. There's something in the rules that says you can't loop the game to a draw. Yeah, come on, guys, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. And then if you're gonna be a dick, here comes the banhammer. Here comes the hammer. The banhammer Shapiro. Yeah, you have to advance. There we go. You have to advance the game state. You have to advance the game state. You're not advancing the game state, you're cheating. Or not, I don't know about cheating. I don't know how you classify this. You're, well, but whatever. They'll make you lose. You must progress the game state. There we go. No, you can't. There are ways of tying the game, but you are not allowed. I used to think that if you could loop, if there was a situation that loops, maybe if it was by accident, it's a tie. But if you are willingly creating this loop over and over again, then you lose. Disqualified for wasting people's time. I love it. I always agreed it's a douche move, but I had no idea there was an actual rule that you can't loop. No, you can't. Well, in the case of Nexus of Fate, like, you have the option to not Nexus of Fate. So, like, you are continuously making this, taking the option to take extra turns but do nothing with them. So a judge would come in and say, okay, you have to advance the board or something, or we're gonna give the win to the other guy. So online, though, we did not have that arbitration. That arbitration did not exist. And the simple solution was ban this fucking card, but they didn't want to do it. I mean, they did it eventually. This is a very interesting card. I should make a video about, like, the deep history of Nexus of Fate. I mean, it's got that there's a lot of baggage on this card. Anyway, very interesting discussion of Nexus of Fate. And they don't want to go back. They don't want to go back. It was a controversy. It was a controversy at the time. Tyler Roberts, what decks have the largest win difference based on skill levels, so the better players do the best consistently? And on the flip side, what decks can new players pick up and actually be a threat? So I think the... I want to say stuff like Death Shadow, Control, for sure, have very large skill differences. Let's go. Let's take a look at some deck lists, because there's definitely a lot of decks that just suck if you're not good at the deck. Okay, Amulet Titan I think is one. I think Amulet Titan, you can get a huge edge if you know that deck very well. So I think Amulet, Death Shadow decks. This might not be Death Shadow. I think Control decks, generally speaking, are quite good. I think Stoneblade. Off the top decks, I think that would be it. And then, like, decks that you can get the most out of it. Oh, and maybe Hammer Time. Well, the thing with Hammer Time is I think even if you're a complete moron, you can get a lot of value out of the deck. But you may not be, you may not have, like, a big winning advantage. But I think there's enough raw power there that if you're a complete moron, you'll still get a lot of value. And then on the flip side, which decks can new players pick up and actually be a threat? Blitz. This is so straight. It's very straightforward for the most part. Even if you play it badly, you will crush your opponents. You'll crush so many opponents. Yeah, get well soon, Michael. Get well soon. Best wishes, get well soon. Okay. Jack Torborg, good morning, Nikachu. Why is everyone freaking out about a best of one format? Of course it's going to get broken, LOL. That's the whole point of the sideboard aspect of the game. I find it a little silly. Well, it's because of just the play pattern of the combo. Also, is that it is a 2-card combo. Traditionally speaking, Standard cannot stomach 2-card combos very well. And even in best of 3, it might become a problem, but we'll wait and see. There's more room to like deal with the combo, like, you know, getting that cleansing wildfire or something. Or I don't know how old is cleansing wildfire. I don't even know what set it's from. But the point is, you know, you can bring in some land hate, but still might be a problem. Still might be a problem. 2-card combos very strong in standard traditionally. Matthew Carpenter says, Magic Life Hack. If you have a GameStop membership, you can use your $5 a month store credit to get a free Magic pack, and they often have buy 2 get 1 free on all Magic products. Interesting. Get that valid from GameStop. Christopher, is Ragavan a staple in Jund from here on out? I would say so. I mean, if you're a Jund player, you're not using Ragavan, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? And you are one of the best Ragavan decks. Because Ragavan's greatest nemesis. The greatest nemesis for Ragavan is basically creatures blocking it. But you're a Jund deck, so you have like all the removal, right? You've got the fatal pushes. You've got the lightning bolts. It's not a problem. Scryfall is slow today. I want to get Ragavan out. But the point is that you know, this 2/1 body can't attack into a lot of stuff. So it doesn't do very well in a deck without good hard removal. Like Prowess isn't even playing this card. One of the few decks that does not play this card. But Jund does. Jund does. I think this is a staple to Jund from here on out. It's just too good. It's too strong. Not to mention, you can clear the way for your opponent's removal. Like, yeah, Ragavan is a 2/1 body, very fragile. But if you Inquisition Thoughtseize, you can see your opponent's hand, take their stuff away from them. But thanks to Ragavan, you could have turn 2 Liliana the Veil. Turn 1 Ragavan. Your opponent, I don't know, puts a land into play, tapped, attack, get the treasure token, turn 2 Liliana the Veil. Very strong play. Anyway, I think easily a staple in a deck like Jund. Flashbagjulzz. Do you think there's a possible Sky Hussar deck in Modern? I liked playing Mono Blue Martyr in Legacy. I doubt it. Like, this is just a very old card. Oh, hold on. There was a deck that played this thing. I don't remember what it was. But it was like a jank deck. Comes into play, untap all creatures you control. Forecast tap to untap white and or blue creatures you control. Reveal Sky Hussar from your hand. Draw a card. But anyway, it's a bit clunky. But if there was a deck for it, I think we would have seen it by now. It's a very old card. The Bunkers. Do you think that it is safe to build Amulet Titan in Modern as a top tier deck? I'm struggling to pick between Titan and Stoneblade. Which do you think is better positioned? So apparently Amulet Titan is not well positioned right now. The Amulet players are struggling. The struggle is real apparently. So they look like they're doing... This is for the last 30 days. Look at the last 7 days. They're gone. Oh, no, they're not gone. They're still around. It's not so bad. I don't like looking at the last 7 days. I like looking at the last 14 days. Oh, they're even further down if you look at the fourth. So maybe Amulet Titan's making a comeback. So they have problems like Hammer Time is really quick and a fast combo deck. Is it tempo? The Murktide decks are playing with Blood Moon. They are the Blood Moon deck right now, people. The Murktide decks, they're the new Blood Moon decks, basically keep policing the format. And policing everything else in the format. But we have a Blood Moon deck, and where there's a Blood Moon deck, Amulet Titan's not happy about that. Now, Amulet Titan has other problems, like when they're up against Dothy Voidwalker. So the problem is, you play your Dothy Voidwalker, you Thoughtseize the Primeval Titan from the opponent's hand, and you take it, that's it, the game is over. So it is a huge beating for the Amulet players when they have to face off against their own Primeval Titan. So apparently that card is really good against them. Apparently Crashing Footfall sometimes can just goldfish to a victory. You know, stuff like Subtlety, huge tempo swing against the Primeval Titan deck. So you like go turn 3, Shardless Agent, Crashing Footfalls, have 10 power in play, then you play Subtlety, then you play a Brazen Bar, or like you could Brazen Bar just one more turn against the Primeval Titan, but the Subtlety is a huge beating, and you can do it for free. And then if you have the mana, it's a big deal. And they still have the interaction like Force and Negation to deal with Summoner's Pact. So the point is, Actually, Amulet has a lot of stuff going up against it. But that being said, is it better or worse than Stoneblade? I would bet that Amulet Titan has more upside than Stoneblade does. Stoneblade is a really solid deck, but it's always on the low end of like winning. It's never like the best deck in the format. It's always just like it's a good competent deck. Whereas Amulet, if you buy into this, it's gonna have moments where it's the best deck in the format, and then it's gonna have moments where like maybe it's like slightly unplayable for a little while. But it's always like, I want to say it's like the type of deck that's always on the verge of getting something banned. And when something gets banned, it will go down, but then it'll just pick something else up. It's like this deck has just mutated so much over the last 6 years. I hardly recognize it anymore. Only 2 Azusa? I think the only things from like a long time ago were like 2 Azusa, 4 Primeval Titan, 4 Amulet. Like, I don't 4 Summoners Pact. There's a lot of stuff in here I don't recognize from the past. So I think Amulet is a good choice so long as you're not afraid of some of your cards getting banned once in a while. And Stoneblade will be a good choice if you don't want your cards banned, period. Because I don't think they're going to ban anything from Stoneblade. Hope that helps. Is the book going to get banned in Historic? Well, maybe they will in Best of 1 formats. Maybe they'll keep moving to other Best of 1 formats. But for the moment, no. Aaron says, I find the problem with Power in 2020 is the absence of Field of Ruin in the format. But not every deck, I think, can run Field of Ruin anyway. Scott Campbell, hey, what are your thoughts on Hobgoblin Bandit Lord? Could it be incredibly effective for Goblin decks? The Hobgoblin. New Goblin. Okay, so it's 3 mana Lord. But you have to tap it, pay a red, deals damage equal to the number of goblins that enter the battlefield under your control this turn to any target. And that's what kills it for me. I don't think it's something Goblins needs. They've got a lot of great lords already. They don't need another one. I think Goblin King is better. I mean, it is to any target, so maybe I'm underestimating the fact that you can go to face, shoot face. But there's already a lot of lords. Goblin King, Chieftain is like really good. Because it gives haste. It's a lord and other goblin creatures you control get haste as well. Haste is really strong. Strong. So strong. And by the way, these cards don't see play. So I don't know if the other goblin lord would see play. Prize Fighter, Gruul land destruction worth playing in today's modern metagame? Yes. Yes it is. I do believe so. Do you think they will jam it into the Innistrad set or even Ghost Quarter? I have no idea. It's an arena only format? Yeah, they're only it's the banning is only for best of 1 on arena. Paper standard is best of 3. So bring your sideboard cards ready, get ready for that 2-card combo. MTG Arena has a clock, so you can win that way? I guess so. James Gilberto, did you see any good enchantment class cards from D&D set that you liked? Do you like the Ranger class that could be jank or budget Simic Merfolk card? I don't think it's a Simic Merfolk card. Those cards are... No, none, I was not impressed with any of the classes. I saw where they could go with them, but I was not very impressed. And so far, we've seen none enter Modern. Is Disciple of the Vault worth playing in Where's the Thopter combo? I'm gonna say no. But maybe someone needs to playtest this card. So for those who don't know, it's a black 1/1 creature. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may have target opponent lose 1 life. So it includes your opponents, actually. Includes the opponents. But the point is, so like if you play the right artifact deck and you sack a bunch of artifacts, you can like kill your opponent. But the deal is, if you're comboing off with artifacts, in my opinion, you've won the game anyway. So this seems like a win more card. Seems complete win more. I don't really believe in it. We've got a super chat, the Bonkers, with Bubbles. Spaceman Bubbles avatar. Thank you for the insights on Amuletite and Stoneblade. You're welcome. You're welcome, Bonkers. And if you want to learn more about Amulet Titan, you could go follow F Pavlush. That is FPAWLUSZ. Or Z, if you're American. Us Canadians, we pronounce it Zed. But he's a master of Amulet Titan. You can learn a lot of stuff from him. Maybe that's another pro to Amulet Titan. There are a lot of streamers playing this deck. There is a lot of Amulet Titan masters out there, so it's easier to learn what's going on with Amulet Titan than there is with Stoneblade. That's actually one more point. How well is Boom Bust deck positioned in modern metagame? I think the deck is complete jank. I think the deck is just absolute complete jank. But it, like, every so often has a good finish. And there's, like, more than one pilot out there. So it's like, it's just a mono white Ponza deck. Sorry, it's a Boros Ponza deck playing Boom and Bust. Destroy target land you control and target land you don't control and destroy all land. So this is like Amulet Titan's Nightmare. And they barely have a win condition. They have, like, Goblin Dark Dwellers. Or I think I've seen some people play Karn the Great Creator, which is a good idea. Which is a good idea. You should be playing with stuff like Karn the Great Creator when you want to finish off the game. But I think this is a jank deck. Do you prefer Simic or Mono Blue? I will play whatever is the best at the time. I'm not leaning anywhere right now. I'm gonna be playing a little bit of Mono Blue coming up in the short future, but I could easily go back to Simic. Thoughts on the new D&D manlands, Den of the Bugbear, etc. They look like they have some potential, but no one's tried it yet. Well, I mean, for modern, I mean, they're going to be playable in other formats. I don't remember. Let's look up Forgotten Realms. Like, they'll see play, but they won't see modern play. Although there is a chance that they can see modern play if the right deck can fit it in. Yeah, I found the lands. They're all reasonable, except for the Hall of Storm Giants. I'm not thrilled with this, but maybe in Standard or Pioneer they might like this card. But I mean, 4 mana to create a creature, another 4 mana. Like, you need 5 mana in play. Raging Ravine saw tons of play, right? So there's no reason that these guys can't see play, in my opinion. I think these are all very good cards. And, like, if you control 2 or more other lands, Hive of the Eye Tyrant enters the battlefield tap. That's a very reasonable downside. Very reasonable. Maybe, well, anyway, they all look playable, but they need the right home. We'll just put it that way. They need the right home. Papa Joe, how do you know if you've reached the shark tier in the MTG pyramid? When you're, I would say when you are, if you're top 8ing your events on some semi-regular basis, you know you've done it. So like, I top 8 my events. It's like way more than 50% of the time, but I would say about 50% of the time. That's how I would know it. We're going to rename the shark tier to the stallion tier because I think it contrasts the good difference between the stallions and the ponies. The ponies have no clue. The ponies are just like strutting around, sniffing each other's butts and eating the hay on the racetrack. And the stallions are in a race. They know they're in the race. They're trying to win it. The ponies are just happy to be there. We're stallions. Stallions are winners. RenrewPlayz. Hey man, what do you think of the lands like Shivan Reef and Battlefield Gorge as budget lands? They're not bad if your deck has enough colorless in it. I think they are fine. They're fine as well. I mean, they're not even budget lands these days. But if you happen to own them, they can be okay if you have enough colorless in your deck. Like, oh! Did they just reprint this? They had to have just reprinted this. Look at that Apocalypse version. The OG version, $8. Yeah, this is very reasonable. But if your deck, like, I don't think this is good in, say, a burn deck. Because a burn deck, or even a prowess deck. Well, maybe the prowess deck might be fine because they're trying to kill you very quickly. But there are some decks that you're just very heavy on your mana sources. Maybe Jund is a good reason. Like, Jund doesn't want to take any damage. And they're very heavy on, like, black, red. Or maybe they're okay. Maybe they're not that bad either. You know, you can play Tarmogoyf for a generic. I would just say, wherever you're playing the deck, make sure there's enough generic mana in the mana cost of your cards that it's not too painful. And it'll be totally fine. Totally fine. Should I make a YouTube? Go for it. You never know until you try. And it's free anyway. That's what's a cool thing about YouTube. This is totally free to enter. Anyone can do it. I started off as a complete nobody on the internet, and now look where I am. Kevin asks, do you think Modern Horizons 2 had too much of an impact on the format? Most of the top decks are powered by quite a few Modern Horizons 2 cards. Welcome to Modern. That's exactly what happened in Modern Horizons 1, and even after they banned Hogak and Faithless Looting. I mean, it was still pretty dominant. Well, I would say Wizards is just pushing cards to a point where, yeah, it's changing Modern by quite a bit. And that's just how Modern is. That more or less has always been what Modern is. People try to hold on to this very short period of time where Modern was like not changing very much back in, like, I don't know, 2013, 2014. But since then, Modern is just a format where the new cards shake it up. It gets rattled up and it's a whole new format, a lot of new decks that are viable, which I think actually helps the format because a lot of people are hoping, like, there's so many people who are happy that Enchantress is now a deck. You know, people love, oh, there's like an artifact deck now that I can play. Hammer Time. Oh, Crashing Footfalls. I loved that Cascade deck, but I couldn't make it work. Now I can make it work. Oh, Living End is good now. I love Elementals. I love Enchantress. So, like, the format changes and the old guard goes and the new guard shows up. Is the Landfall Zoo deck viable? At F&M, probably. I mean, anything is viable, but, like, is it competitive in, like, a big tournament? I don't think so. We have no results for that deck lately. What was that follow again? The Titan player? F. Pavlush. F-P-A-W-L-U-S-Z. I'm sure someone mentioned in the comments. Here, I go find him. And he's actually built a huge community for Amulet Titan here. Calls himself the last modern streamer. Which is funny because he plays Legacy quite a bit these days too. But anyway, he plays a lot of Primeval Titan and he's got podcasts on Primeval Titan. He's doing it all. He's doing it all. You go check his YouTube. I mean, you look at his YouTube channel. I mean, it's infinite Titan stuff. It's just infinite Titan stuff. You could watch Titan all fucking day if you follow him. He's a very good Titan player. Very, very good Titan player. I mean, these videos are enormous. Oh, he also plays some, like, sort of not Landfall Zoo, but he likes Night of the Reliquary decks too. So that does show up every so often. Boom Bust usually plays 4 mana Chandra. Not in all the lists I've seen. Like, the original meme list was like 4 Goblin Dark Dwellers, that was it. And I actually saw a lot of lists like that. Like, there's some guy who's on that list. It's just 4 Goblin Dark Dwellers. I agree, Chandra is a great card because that's like a good win condition. That's a good card in there too. Maybe the evolved versions are playing with Chandra now. Book of Exalted Deeds and Mutavault? Yes, that could work. It'd be a better combo. But it's still a crappy combo in Modern. Adrian, are 3-card combos playable in Modern? If so, what do you think of Shambling Ghast Lilliana Untouched by Death and a Sack Outlet? Yes, there's tons of 3-card combos in Modern. I don't know about this one. Like, Ad Nauseam is essentially a 3-card combo. This better be a cheap combo. If it's too expensive, get the hell out of here. like the ad nauseum deck is Angel's Grace into, I can never remember the card. There's like there's a card for a black. You name a card and you dig to it. But if you name a card that's not in your deck, you like lose your entire library. And then you play Thassa's Oracle. Okay, this one's reasonably priced. 1 mana. So, search the body, create a treasure chest token, or target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Okay, so what's this? Probably uses the treasure. Lilliana Untouched. This one's 4 mana. It's a lot. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. If at least one of them is a zombie card, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, with X as the number of zombies you control, and you may cast zombie cards from your graveyard this turn. Okay, so you can minus Lilliana, and you can cast and recast this bozo infinite times. And then the last one is a sack outlet? Okay, but what do you do? How do you win the game? This doesn't win the game. You're just recasting this over and over again. Remember, you can't play with yourself in Magic. You gotta do something. You have to advance the board state. Shambling Ghast. I don't think I'm missing anything here. Like, you could wipe out your opponent's board, but you're just doing it like a really hard way. Or put top 3 cards in your library. No, yeah, this is not playable. When you play a 3-card combo, you have to win the game. You have to win the game. Now, it's neat interaction, and maybe you could have that in the... Like, I don't even think you need a sack outlet. I don't get the point of it. Oh, hold on. Let's go back. Maybe I don't even understand this combo. Mill them out? Hold on, there was Goblin Bombardment. But then that's a 4-card combo, right? When Shambling Ghast dies, choose 1. Create a treasure. Then that's a 4-card combo. If we need, like, Goblin Bombardment and a sack outlet. No, Goblin Bombardment is different. And we just got this one, too. Yeah, sacrifice a creature. So this is the sack outlet. This would be a combo. And you're in the black-red colors. This is not too hard to pull off, either. Sacrifice a creature, Goblin Bombardment deals 1 damage to any target. So you can sack... There. The Coffee Crew fixed your combo. The Coffee Crew fixed the combo. So this will work. So you can sack this thing, you get a treasure token, you deal a damage to them, then through Lilliana, you can bring it back from the you cast it back from the graveyard with the treasure token, and rinse and repeat until you've won. There you go. That's a reasonable combo. That's a reasonable combo. Yeah, it's not a bad combo. And maybe there are other combos you can have in this deck in addition to this. Maybe this could be a zombie deck. Anyway, so neat. So that definitely works. Fawkes says, I beat Storm with Boomer Tron last night. That's embarrassing for the Storm deck, because this is a good matchup for Storm. Congratulations, Fawkes. Oh yeah, I was thinking of Spoils of the Vault. Oh, love you. Fawkes says, love you, Coffee Crew. Love you, Fawkes. So I don't notice all the super chats under like $3. I don't get a very I don't think they give me any notification. I mean, it gets highlighted in my feed, but that's about it. Am I twitching today? Depends where I am with my YouTube videos, but I might have a 1-hour stream. Anyway, people, it's time to do a change of pace. And you know what that change of pace is. It's deck list review time. You heard the music, and now you know the show. So Coffee Crew, if you want to submit a deck list for review by both myself and the Coffee Crew, you can submit to me by going into my description. There's a link to my Discord. Join my Discord. And in the Discord, there is a channel called Deck List Review. And in Deck List Review, use the command !review deck space, give the URL to your deck list, press enter, and you'll be eligible at random for Deck List Review. You only have to submit it once a week. I clear the queue at the end of Friday. So let's get into it. We've got Freck. Congratulations, Freck. You are, for me, it's Freak. Freck, Freak. Budget modern Braids Heartless Summoning. Oh god. Have we seen this before? And the problem last time, it was like way too clunky, and now it's, I think it got worse. I think it got a lot worse. We saw this deck before. You can't, the curve is too high. The curve is way too high. Hold on, what's the format? Yeah, it's modern. Come on, man. I swear we gave the feedback like you need less. The curve needs to be lower, and now the curve is just higher. Solemn Simulacrum. Where did Ponza go? People are just not playing the deck. I think the deck is fine. Yeah, curve is too damn high. This is the highest fucking curve I've ever seen. Well, it's not the highest curve I've seen on Coffee and MTG. I've seen worse, but in standard. For like modern, this is ridiculous. Okay, so Braids Cabal Minion. We have Dread Presence. Grim Haruspex. Whenever non-token creature enters, you control dies, draw a card. Probably we can cut this. Midnight Reaper. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Midnight Reaper deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card. Probably we can keep that. When Phyrexian Rager enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. So when this thing dies, you still get it. Okay, so I think Phyrexian Rager can go. We gotta cut stuff. Ravenous Chupacabra. Like, there's just too much stuff at 4 mana. Or maybe we have to cut the 4 mana stuff. Okay, get rid of Ravenous Chupacabra. Definitely get rid of Solemn Simulacrum. This does nothing. I mean, it's an okay card to sack, I guess. Skin Render. When Skin Render enters the battlefield, put 3 -1/-1 counters on target creature. Like, we gotta, like... Yeah, maybe we could play some Grief. That wouldn't be too bad. And also it has some, whenever a Midnight Reaper... Actually, Grief is a good suggestion because it combos with Midnight Reaper whenever a non-token creature you control dies. So you evoke the thing and you still draw a card, and it's not that bad. Playing Heartless Summoning without Mirror Retriever is weird. Yeah, so the deck is trying to get a discount. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Creatures you control get -1/-1. But that's it! Like, this is your only way of making the deck, like, a little slimmer. If you don't have this card, your deck is, like, just gonna die to everything. Which deck would you consider a suitable home for Braids? I mean, there might not be one. This is not a very strong effect in Modern. I'm not gonna suggest taking it out because I understand the deck is trying to be built around it, but, like, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land. Maybe in a Yawgmoth deck, Braids would be best because you have a lot of things to sack. Like, you can sack things with persist triggers and stuff. Like persist or undying. Like, if I were to build a Braids deck, it might be just full of undying creatures so that when you sack the thing, it's not that bad because it comes back as a much bigger thing. Yeah, switch the format to, like, from Modern to, like, Homebrew, and it's an alright idea. Braids has gotten substantially worse since her first printing, since there are so many treasures and tokens now. That's true, too. Anyway, I mean, we had this deck before, and I don't think it got any better. Cut Solemn Simulacrum. You have to make the curve lower. I don't know what it is that we can use for value cards. And I guess Heartless Summoning just doesn't work with things like Geralf's Messenger because you don't get the discount. This deck is so... Okay, I have a question. Is there, like, a reasonably fast way we can find Heartless Summoning? Or is there another, like, pseudo replacement for this card? Yeah, I know. But the tutor, I don't know if there are any good tutors. Fit goblin bombardment combo, as we were talking about earlier. Idyllic Tutor is too slow, but I mean, I'm sort of thinking like more like Ancient Stirrings like effects, like some maybe some cantrip that can dig, but we're mono black. I don't think we have anything available. Oh, Profane Tutor. Could that help us? But it doesn't put the card directly in play. Turn 2, Profane Tutor. Turn 4, get Heartless Summonings. It might be better than nothing, because at least you have something to do on turn 2, even though you don't impact the board. What's Grim Tutor? Nah, too much. Okay, I can't rebuild this deck. My suggestion is lower the curve, or this deck's unplayable. I mean, you can have fun with the deck or whatever. Like, your current strategy is you have to mulligan for Heartless Summoning, and if you don't, you're lost. Like, you literally have to mulligan down to 4, hoping to get Heartless Summoning, because there's, I mean, at least on the draw, on the play, maybe you have a chance of winning, but like, and you know, it doesn't take that much. If you just remove like 8 cards, maybe not even 8, if you remove 6 cards and add some removal spells, that might be enough. Like so you could like dump, I don't know, Skin Render or Solemn Simulacrum and some number of like Phyrexian Rage, or get rid of all the Phyrexian Rages. I don't actually like this card. Get rid of 4 Phyrexian Rages, 2 Solemn Simulacrum, play 4 Fatal Push, 2 Bloodchief's Thirst or something like that. Maybe that's enough. And of course, 24 Swamp, at least one of them could be something else. I don't know what else though. Well, it's like a bit of a synergy deck. Anyway, that's all I have to suggest. Good luck with the list. Okie dokie. Hempel with Dakon's Super Friends. We haven't seen much out of Dakon. That is not that bad of a card. Not bad at all. Oh, that's big braining it there, Fraser T. That's big braining it. Maybe Serum Patter is a reasonable card in that deck. Maybe. Serum Powder in that deck. Maybe that... Again, we're not playing with any removal again. Okay. Archmage's Charm, Counterspell, Cryptic Command, Fatal Push, Force Negation, Opt, Spell Snare. What colors are we in? Dimir? No, we're in Esper. Dakon, Shadow Slayer. Interesting, we don't see any play out of this card yet. I mean, clearly a good card. Jace the Mind Sculptor, Karn the Great Creator. Is that really the default picture we've got here? Some promo that's in a sleeve or something? One Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Damn, Prismatic Ending. Snapcaster Mage, 2 Torrential Gearhulk. I think that's a bit clunky. And that must be is that a budget option? Because you have 3, I would just have the 4th Snapcaster Mage in at that point, unless you really want some way of winning the game. I mean, it's a reasonable body, but I mean, it's a clunky boy. Cursed Totem, Engineered Explosives, Ensnaring Bridge. Esper Charm, 1 Grafdigger's Cage, Icecrown Scepter, Liquid Metal Coating. Alright, so long as you have like Bridge, Liquid Metal Coating, and I could suggest maybe 1 Walking Ballista, because Walking Ballista can be a way of like winning out of, oh, you can grab, oh, that's neat, you can grab Torrential Gearhulk with your Karn the Great Creator. I would still suggest a Walking Ballista somewhere in the sideboard, because there's going to be games where you play the bridge, you stall the opponent out. Actually, I have some experience with this. Bridge sucks in decks like this. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. Okay, so you do have a problem, and I have actual experience with this. Karn the Great Creator and counter spells are non-bows. They're like super non-bows. Because you want to keep your hand empty, but then you start drawing these fucking counter spells and your opponent's not casting spells, and then you just lose to some grizzly bears on the battlefield. So there have been I'm just making you aware that these can be non-bows. I mean, I guess you have Jace, but that's another problem. You draw more cards with Jace. I remember having a problem with Karn, and I had a deck with Karn and Jace in it, and the counter spells killed me. Like, I would have Bridge out, and then I would draw my Cryptic Command, I would draw my counter spell, I would draw my Archmage's Charm. Like, what do I do with this? I don't want to draw 2 more cards. I think the Gear Hulks might be okay if you want to win with those cards. But anyway, so that's something to keep in mind. Maybe this is not the best Karn the Great Creator deck, or if you want to go more in the Karn the Great Creator, you have to dump Counterspell and play more to the board. Anyway, just a heads up. Maybe you don't have to win off of it, though. You don't have, you know, maybe in the matchups where you're trying to win with Ensnaring Bridge, you side out the counter magic. So, but I would have 1 Walking Ballista in the sideboard. I've always found that when I was playing with Karn the Great Creator, the card I was always missing from my sideboard was a Walking Ballista, because there's always going to be these games where nothing happens. It's a standstill. You're just going taking turns back and forth, but you can't really reasonably win the game either. Even when you have Karn the Great Creator on the board, and you're sniping down all your opponent's lands. So what's good is to grab a Walking Ballista. I might dump like 1 Vindicate or something for that Walking Ballista. No Teferi. There is Teferi in the sideboard. That is also a reasonable suggestion to substitute Karn with Narset or Ashiok. But, I mean, Karn is outright the more powerful card overall. I think in this case, I mean, it's not a bad suggestion, but I think in this... Do you know what? I like that, actually. Do you know what? I like... Maybe we should switch Mirror for Chalice, because if you tap out to play Karn and go -2 to try to deal with suspend decks, you cannot play Void Mirror immediately. You have to wait till your next turn. But if you grab Chalice of the Void, you can just play it on 0. Void Mirror is also good against Eldrazi Tron and Tron, whereas Chalice is useless. But I would bet that Chalice is more useful to this deck just because of the mana efficiency. So that's a good suggestion. Oh, Dakon gets Gear Hulk. I think that's the reason. I think Gear Hulk gets a free spell without having to cast it, so it's a better... Okay. Well, I don't know if it's a better Snappy, because you still have to ultimate your Dakon, you know? You may put an artifact card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield. Not the greatest value, in my opinion. I think better is the -3 and the Surveilling. But, I mean, it's fine. Let's just take a quick look at the mana base. Yeah, I think it's okay on a glance. Can you just play Karn without Ensnaring Bridge play? You know, Ensnaring Bridge is a little too good. Like, even if your hand is getting clogged with cards, Ensnaring Bridge is good versus Titan. There will be enough matchups where having Ensnaring Bridge is good. There might be just some matchups where you just can't grab it because it's too much of a nombo with your counter spells. Void Mirror does practically nothing against G-Tron. Mild inconvenience. I have a harder time against Chalice. It isn't for G-Tron, but it is for Eldrazi Tron. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for Coffee and MTG. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much, everyone, for submitting the deck list and your questions. If you want to catch the replay, go check it out at Nikachu MTG Streams, my alternate YouTube channel. If I didn't get to your comments, questions, or deck list, hey, we do this Monday to Friday at 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. If you'd like to support the channel and you don't do so already, you can drop a sub at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. You can become a patron at patreon.com/NikachuMTG. Or you can hit the join button on YouTube. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today. It was great. It was a great discussion, and we'll see where this 2-card combo goes in Standard. So keep brewing up that coffee, everyone, and we'll keep brewing up Magic. See you guys next time.